Crowd starting to build up here now. The crowd. Crowd starting to build up here now. The crowd starting to come in. They've been here for the amateurs, and now once the pros started, they've actually settled down and started to really get into this. There's good support for both fighters, which is really good to see. It's not such a home sort of town sort of thing, whereas we're not following the visiting fighter.
A little bit of an advantage for Adam Lovelock getting to box in the ring he trains in every day.
So it does help.
Yeah, look, I think it's a mental edge more than anything. You shouldn't really, you fight all over the place in different cities, in different states, in different countries. You need to take that ring on as your own. You know, when we go elsewhere or abroad, I get my fighters in the ring and I tell them, this is your ring, you control it.
Absolutely.
But there's a little bit more to that game tonight, where this actually is Adam.
And that's a big. It's like a home ground advantage, isn't it? Sort of that we see in footy and in cricket and a lot of sports today. That home ground advantage is a little, But having said that, he's still got to beat the fighter in front of him, And look, for all fighters, a lot of fighters don't trust what they've actually done, and it's very, very important for a fighter to trust his judgment, trust himself, what the work that he has done in the gym.
Nice right hand there, Adam Lovelock.
If he knows he's done that work in the gym, he'll know he's capable of doing the 6 rounds, and he can fight each round with a good solid work rate, and that's where I think
he looks good, Brumby, when he throws that jab and tries to box from the outside.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of weight too, Kyle, around the midsection, hasn't he? From when he made the early fights in his early days, he always twisted, turned at him. That was great stuff from Kyle Brumby. Wasn't that good work? And then he made him miss, and he actually made him pay. That was good effort by Kyle Brumby. And he's fought some of the best fighters around. Kyle. He's as I said, the win, the split points lost to Balash Varga. That was a real effort. That was, because I rate Balash Varga, and he's one of those guys got massive amount of skill. He doesn't train that hard, but he can punch as well. He's fought some of the best. Brett Peters, he's fought him twice. He's fought Thor, the God of Thunder Hoopman, trained by John Wayne Parr, who's an Australian and world kickboxing champion. Stevie Roberts, he's fought him a couple of times, and a great coach. And so he's been in with the best, Kyle Brumby. Just made Adam miss with the right hand there and twisted, got themselves tied up.
Now, speaking about John Wayne Parr, back then he was in boxing as well.
Absolutely, he trained with Rod Waterhouse and Paul Briggs and Steve over there in Nerang, and had a great camp over there, and won the Australian middleweight title. I actually refereed him when he won the Australian middleweight title, and but what would you expect from John Wayne Parr? If you're going to fight him, you're going to be in a fight.
12 boxing fights, 10 wins, and was it nearly 9 or 10 knockouts?
Knockouts,
I think maybe 9 knockouts out of those 10
I think 9 knockouts
wins.
out of 10 wins, and there's only 2 losses. Guess who? The great Saki Obika and Nader Hamdan. 2 guys who were both fought for world titles, and so no disgrace to loss to them. And let me tell you, there's a lot of talk that they were disputed losses too. One of them, I
can tell you, I was in his corner for Sakio Bika, and he fairly got beat in the end, but he had Sakio gone in the early rounds, but couldn't quite finish off. And at the time, Wayne was crossing over from boxing to Muay Thai. He was a period where all he concentrated on was on boxing, and that's where he was going really well. Then he started to cross over again, and the fight with Sakio came up, and I truly believe that if he had been concentrating on boxing for 3 months when he took that fight, he would have beat Sakio.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Wayne lost to 3 fighters that I know of. One was an Australian title fight trained by Jeff Fennick, was young
He got
kid.
beat by Ian McLeod.
Ian McLeod, that was right, and I worked that fight, and so no disgrace to lose to Ian McLeod. He was an Australian title, he was an Australasian champion,
He was a
and
great
a
fighter.
regional
He was a
title.
very good
Yeah,
amateur as
just
well.
met him over in Singapore. I just went over and refereed a WBA, supervised the WBA World Featherweight title over there with Chris John, and Ian was over there. He's working over
is
in
he
Singapore
really?
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I did rounds when I was coming up as an amateur. I used to go up to Jimmy Young's backyard and Ian McLeod. Very, very fit he was.
incredibly fit, good work ethic.
I sparred him one day and I left the gym and I was talking to my trainers at the time, Trevor Martin and Kevin Martin, and I said, hang on a second, and I counted the rounds that Ian did. I jumped in for 3 and jumped out, someone else jumped in, he jumped out, someone else jumped in. Anyway, 21 rounds Ian McLeod did in a row.
God!
That's unheard of these
Yeah,
days.
it really
People don't
is.
do that.
No.
Oh, geez, that was a good hit.
Nice right hand by Adam Lovelock.
Adam just, he's just got the there's a saying, Steve, as you know, style makes fights, and Adam at this moment has just got the measure of Kyle Brumby, and
He's certainly he's landing the cleaner shots and more often too.
yeah,
He's,
just a little
picking those
untighted
shots.
there. He threw that wild wide hand from out in no man's land, and it just didn't land. But gee, if Kyle started to really apply himself and get fit, he could really do some damage in that beautiful left lead by Adam Lovelock.
Now, Steve, I was just watching the fighters there. Does that mean they're confident, or they're sort of playing with their opponent when they start moving their head?
Yeah, look, I'm back when I trained. I was just hands up. That's it. You don't drop your hands. It's how I was taught, and there's a lot of credit to that. And I still teach hands up tight defense. But I don't mind if the guys drop their hands every now and then. But for me, they only do it for a reason. So if you're going to drop your hands, you're setting up your opponent. You're trying to invite him in to throw a punch so you can counter punch him.
Right.
I certainly don't encourage guys to fight with their hands down all the time. There's very few people that get away with it. Mayweather's one. Our current, probably our biggest hope for a gold medal at the Olympics, Damien Hooper. He's another one. He fights with his hands down the whole time. But these guys are exceptional fighters that are experienced. You can't teach newcomers and novices to the sport of boxing to fight with their hands down.
Yeah, perfect example is Mundine. He gets there and puts his head out, and you're thinking, is he trying to put this guy off and just play with him?
And it's very much an individual thing. Like Muhammad Ali was great at it. We're not Muhammad Ali. And I guess there's so many idiosyncrasies as we're waiting for the tape to get done on Kyle Brumby's hands. And let me tell you this is actually unfortunate because Kyle Brumby's winning this round. He's actually just taken the initiative off Adam, and now we've had a bit of a break. There's a little bit of a lack of concentration, and now they've got to start sizing each other up again. But going really well, Kyle Brumby in this round, and he's making a bit of a fight of it. But getting back to the hands thing, and it's and again, even like tennis, if you wanted to show someone how to play tennis, you would never let them watch John McEnroe. He did everything wrong by the book. That wasn't the way. But he was one of the greatest tennis players in the history of the sport. Ali, with his hands down, was one of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport. And the thing is that the most common thing said in the boxing ring is hands up. Keep your hands up. So, there are some guys that just have the skills to
nice uppercut.
What's that? Lovely uppercut. That just hit the mark from outside.
Now, from a ref's point of view, can you see the eyes? Any sort of...
Well, in this instance, you can see that their body functions are still good. They're still seeing the punches coming. They're going to get tagged with punches because that's the nature of the sport. But if they get hit to a point where they start to look like they become a bit prone, then we start the warning signs are there. One good shot, then I start to think, well, okay, I want to move in a bit closer so I can have a look at this guy. But that was a really good round. Adam finished, as I sort of said, the danger for that round, Kyle Brumby was actually winning that round, and then we had the break, and that's upset him. Now Adam's come back and just won the last part of that round. I'd actually still, believe it or not, like to give that round to Kyle Brumby because I think he fought for 2.5 minutes of the 3 minutes. And that's another thing that a judge needs to take into consideration is that you can fight for that whole 3 minutes, rather than just come in a burst at the start and then maybe a burst in the last 30 seconds and try and taught. And if we judge the quarterback, there's no reason why we're going to make a mistake. But he's starting to use that.
You do get some varied scorecards sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, we do. And look, as I said, some of the judges, they think they can just rock up, sit down there, do their job, and walk away and get paid. But they really need to think about the task ahead of them, concentrate. As a referee, I like to have just a small, short period of time before I get out into the ring, rather than me talking with the crowd and everything like that, just to think about the task ahead.
Yeah, I've been asked to judge a couple of times on some mixed martial arts shows, and you know, it's a little bit different to the boxing where you have to do your ticket, and that you don't have to do that in MMA as long as you've been, you know, you have an understanding and you're a trainer and a coach and or a fighter, they let you judge. So it's not an easy job, and I've had to go on the amateurs as well with the clickers, and it's harder than you think. When you actually get given the job, you realise, you know, and I found myself, I had to tell myself constantly, judge the fight, don't watch the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't watch it as, this is a good fight. You have to pick the criteria and you have to judge it, you know. Who is pushing the fight? Who is landing the cleaner shots, you know?
Absolutely.
Defensively, who's making the other guy miss, you know? These are the things, you've got to judge the fight, not just watch it.
And that's a good call too, Steve, because as a judge in early days, you know, I was taught, you know, you've got 100% of the cake, 70% of that cake is effective aggression. Nothing more than punches landed, clean scoring.
Good defence there by Adam Lovelock.
It's a good hard fight this at the moment.
It is.
Kyle's taking it up to Adam Lovelock a little bit. Adam changing to southpaw, he's feeling comfortable about himself, but he looks a little uncomfortable as a southpaw. I think he needs to, that's back to an orthodox there, and because he's got plenty of fight in him, Kyle Brumby, as we just saw there, left, right, left.
He is throwing a lot more punches at the moment, Kyle, but not landing too many at all clean shots.
So he stands here and lets Adam just tee off him like that. Now. Brings all the good work that he's done in the early part of the round. Actually, Adam is very, very well balanced, takes his time, he's not in a hurry, nice body shots. But Kyle Brumby has actually improved, Steve, from the last time I've seen him fight. He's actually improved dramatically. His hands are good, he's working on the back move, he's using all of the ring. Body language tells me he's starting to feel the pinch a little bit, but he's still, you know, that little over the hand right there.
I'd like to see Adam drop that straight right to the belly a little bit more. I think Kyle Brumby's open for that when he guards up.
Now, Brad, in the boxing, how do you find body punches seem to help quite a lot to get your opponent down?
Oh, they slow your opponent down, absolutely. You know, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of fighters do today is head hunt. You know, they just look for punches to the head, when in fact the body's a bigger target than the head, and it doesn't move. You know, it's easier to hit the body than it is there. As we just saw, nice left-right by Adam Lovelock, a little counter left-right. But you know, if you work the body, you know, there's an old saying: hurt the body, hurt the mind, and that's what sort of happens. So, and that was a good round. That was a good competitive round. I favour Adam Lovelock in that round.
Yeah, mate, there's not much in these rounds, but I do think Adam's just taking them just with the cleaner punches. Yeah,
well, his effective aggression is great, you know, and Kyle starting to feel, as we can see there, the head's down a little bit. He's not demoralised by no means of the stick. He's just this. I think this is the last round coming up, but he's feeling the pinch a little bit, but he's a warrior. Yeah. He's a warrior. I tell you what, I'd love him in my corner.
Well, there's no cuts or any severe bruising yet?
No, it looks like what you can see the trainer there is using what they call an end swell, which is a frozen piece of steel, which just they move that across the side of the cheek to move the swelling where the blood coagulates in behind the skin, and that just stops the
final round coming up now.
This has been a good fight, Steve. This is a well-matched fight. Congratulations to you on putting this together, mate, because this is absolutely terrific. Nice little overhand right there from Kyle Brumby off the left lead of Adam Lovelock. There it is again, using all of the round. Adam's commanding centre ring, nice lead, nice little rangefinder. Oh, he's a tough hombre, isn't he, Kyle Brumby? With a name like Brumby, you'd have to be tough, wouldn't you? Goes over the top with a left and a right. He's just taking the initiative off Adam. Adam's cleaner and tidier, more effective. He's just tagging Adam as he comes in. He's got lots of fight in him, and he's throwing lots of punches.
You've got to give them both credit. They're both going for it for the last one.
No, this is a really well matched between you two young guys. Adam with 6 fights and Kyle with 10. You know, so it's a very, very well matched fight. And, it's a hard little punch to deliver that. Just a little short, sneaky little right hand, and I don't think even Kyle was expecting that.
Not much of a power shot, but just, one of those little annoying taps that maybe might set up a power shot after that.
And at the end of the day, the judges are going to count that as a good, clean scoring blow, because it's, the weight is a factor. But if there's nothing coming back, that's a good scoring blow.
Now, Brad, points-wise, stomach, body blows, head blows, they're all the same points?
Oh, absolutely. Beautiful body shots here by Adam Lovelock. Double-fisted attack to the body, and then he ended up with a hook to the head. But you can. The funny part is you can hit him with a straight left jab, or you can rip him to the body, which is a harder punch to deliver, followed by a left hook, and you still get the same points. There's lots of little idiosyncrasies in our scoring system. We're using tonight. The judges will be using the 10-point must system. The winner of the round must receive 10 points, and the loser of the round will receive maybe 9 or an 8 if there's a knockdown. We've got to remember this. It's not an automatic 10-8 round when there's a knockdown. There's 1 point for the knockdown and 1 point for winning the round. So this is that's a good contest. They're both finishing off very, very strongly. They're both feeling the pressure a little bit. It's not that hot outside today. We've had a little bit of rain out here on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just one of those sort of days that you don't know. It's lucky for some, as they say. Nice little right hand again by Adam Lovelock. He's just a little cleaner in his efforts. Moves away, keeping that distance between him.
Yeah, I like that he has keeping that distance. He fought James Chan earlier in the year on Fox Sports, which is a great 6-round fight, and he really, to take James' advantage away, he got on his chest and muscled him around and walked him back onto the ropes.
He did.
Really fought an inside game and bustled him. So we're seeing a completely different style tonight.
Good fight. Adam Lovelock will win this. It's close. It's not particularly
one-sided.
It's not a one-sided fight. And Kyle Brumby can be very, very happy with what he's done there, because yes, he's lost the fight, but he wasn't disgraced. He's taken a good fighter 6 rounds, a fighter who's fought some of the best fighters that we've seen, and he's lost a points decision. I think it'll be either unanimous. I couldn't see a judge going for Kyle Brumby, but I think. It's a good fight. Good sportsmanship there by Kyle Brumby. He's come over to congratulate
How are you feeling over there, Steve?
Yeah, good. I was fairly confident of the win. I think Adam well and truly done enough work.
He's neat and he's tidy. He's effective in what he does. He's balanced. He doesn't seem to get phased, does he? Even when he was under pressure by
he does very, very
Kyle.
composed.
Yeah, both boys just having a bit of a chat in there as we wait for your decision from the referee and our ring announcer, Mark Nenaba. Doing a good job tonight, Mark.
Yes, he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, the decision. Judge Paul Tatty scored the fight 58-56. Lovelock.
There we go.
Judge Paul Lewis scored the fight 57-57.
Oh, Judge Lewis has gone for a draw, and 58-56. 58-56 to me is the right call.
Scored the fight 58-56 to the winner by majority decision, Lovelock.
Yeah, deserved win there by Adam Lovelock.
I think 58-56 is the third call.
Yeah, good fight. Well, with 58-56 out of a 6-round fight, we've given Kyle Brumby 2 rounds, which is 2 rounds. Maximum out of the maximum 60. Adams won 58-56. So that's a good hard fought win. He can be very, very happy with that, and that'll build a future for him for his next fight. Young Adam at 29 years of age, but he's going very well.
Now the exciting part of the night, guys. We've got the girls coming up.
Arlene Blenko comes into this fight too with a very good amateur career with 25 fights. She won the gold medal at the Arafura Games last year in Darwin. Runner-up at the Australian titles that year as well. So she's no slouch. And this is Nadine's first fight up in the 65 kilo division. She's the current lightweight champion in the 60 kilos.
That's right. Yeah. So she moved up a bit.
She's moved up 2 weight divisions here to take this fight, and we'll see how she goes.
You know what I've noticed with the girls compared to maybe 10, 20 years ago, the size and the muscle tone of the girls has changed.
Very much. Well, look, we talked a little bit about fighters from the early days to back to what today's, and today we are so much better informed. Let me tell you, Lionel Rose won a world title because he ate steak. on the day of the fight, he would eat steak.
Really?
Yeah, Jack Rennie would say,
There's
"Why do I
trick-
want a world title eating steak?" You know. So, yeah, I did the first women's fight in Queensland, which I think was probably about 1996 or 7.
Yep.
And since then it's just grown and grown. We've got a couple of women's world championships done by Sharon Anyos, the
Yes.
WBC
Yep.
world champion, and
The
Erin
girls
McGowan.
just accepted into the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's a wonderful thing for women's boxing. Equality in this sport is wonderful, and you know, because there are a lot of women fight fans as well. So I'm a big supporter of that. I think out of the last 4 world title fights that we've had in this country, I've refereed 3 of them. So I'm a great supporter of women's boxing.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the welterweight division, fighting over 6 2-minute rounds, we have in the red corner, trained by Jason Harris and Gary Brewer, and fighting out of the Legion's Combat and Fitness Centre in Port Macquarie. She has had 25 amateur fights, which saw her win gold at the Arafura Games in 2011, as well as a silver medal at the Australian titles that year. Making her professional debut, weighing in at 65.15 kilograms, Arlene and the Fist Lenko. And in the blue corner, trained by Stephen N.G. Fighting Out Matrix Boxing Gym, with an 11-fight amateur career, and her winning that title and a silver medal at the 2009 Australian title. Now as a professional, she has 2 wins and 1 draw, and is the 2-time and current Queensland lightweight champion, weighing in at 64.7 kilograms. Nadine, the Queen of Mean Pound! Your referee for this fight is Paul Tapley. Judges are
This really is going to be a terrific fight.
And Holly Lewis.
Got 2 real brave young women who are very, very good skills.
Are we looking at, are they both sort of about the same? Talent-wise?
Well, Nadine has had 4 fights for 2 wins, 1 loss and a draw, and Arlene's making her professional debut, but she's had a great amateur career too. So, you know, for her to take this fight, they're obviously very, very confident that they can come in and we're looking at Arlene Blencoe from Port Macquarie in New South Wales with the red around her shorts.
Trained by Jason Harris down there at Allegiance Gym.
I don't know Jason, but
Jason's
he's got a good gym
background
down there.
is MMA, and
Yes.
Thai boxing and MMA is his background.
Arlene just caught Nadine with a nice little left hook there. Nadine with the black shorts with Punish written all over. Punish, terrific company, great sponsors and sports of boxing, Muay Thai.
Yeah, both. We got our whole gym kitted out with Punish. It really is, I think, the best gear on the market, Brad.
Oh yeah, Nick Partridge down there does a great job, and they're designing a new competition glove now. And I actually just sent a set of gloves over to the World Boxing Council for you know, to get them.
What happened
Knocked down
there?
there, it's a slip, big swing, and just missed and fell off balance.
Which is easy to happen. A lot of nerves and
Nice
a lot
jab.
of energy being spent here at this first round
Nice
round.
work on the inside there by Nadine.
She's got a powerful jab, Nadine, hasn't she? That jab was a pile rammer. Good to see her hands are up well. Just walked into a jab followed by a right hand left hook. Gee, she's got some great hands, Arlene Blencoe, hasn't she?
Yes. So the big question will be, will Arlene last the 6 2-minute rounds? She's taken her first pro fight.
Great right hand there by Nadine. She went over the top. That really caught the attention of Arlene.
Now your corner, Steve, what's going on down there? She's sort of not much to say?
Yeah, look, just trying to calm her down after that first round, and just telling her that she needs to probably move away from the right hand a little bit. Arlene has a nice 1-2 hook, and she's just running into the right hand a little bit.
We've got a close-up of the girls here, and they seem to look pretty good. Steve, great, thanks for coming, guys. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed yourself, and we'll be back next time with some more sports on Surfaroo Sports. Until then, see you later, guys. Woo!